Well, here we are again. Hello, my name is Floss, and this is the Grape Jelly Library, where we love to talk about those books. I'm so glad you could join me. I always look forward to your visit. Today, we are talking about reading slumps. What are they, and how the heck do we get out of them? Life is good, but it's even better when we do not find ourselves in the middle of a reading slump. Just what is a reading slump? Well, I looked it up, and this is what we came up with. Definition of a reading slump: a phase where you lose interest in reading when you are reading a book and you are no longer comprehending what is on the page. Definition of reading: the action or skill of reading, to look at and comprehend. Definition of slump: a sudden, severe, or prolonged fall. Quite often, I am asked questions. What do I think of? How do you go about such and such? What is your opinion or advice on this? So today is the day I thought I would take those questions that I am being asked and compile them into this video. I hope that it helps anybody out there right now who is struggling to pick up their books. Maybe we can get you the answer within this video. So I'm going to refer, if you don't mind. Okay. The question that I was asked today: do you ever get into a reading slump? And my answer to that is, of course. We all do. We're all human, and we all find ourselves slacking in one area or another in our lives when it comes to certain things. Let's just face it. Too much of a good thing is a bad thing. So my answer to her question is, of course I do. I'm normal. I'm human. Her second question was, how do you personally get out of your reading slumps? And I did not even have to think about it. My answer was walk away. There are 1,000,001 answers to this question. My personal answer is walk away. When you are in work and you work, you get frustrated. You get burned out. Take a vacation, come back refreshed, come back renewed. Do that with your reading. Take a vacation. There's no shame in putting the books down, walking away, and going out there and living your best life. Even if it's pulling weeds, doesn't matter to me. All that matters is you are sensing some sort of overwhelm, some sort of stress, and it's alarming enough to make you want to ask that question. Walk away. Go out there in the world and you do you. Reading is, to a book lover, a huge part of their world, but it is not their world entirely, and it's okay to put those books down. Put them down. Walk away, girlfriend. Walk away. Another question that I get asked a lot is, how do you get yourself out of it? Well, I become aware of why I am losing interest in my reading. Is it the material that I'm reading? If it is, I will DNF it in a second. I don't even have to think about it. What will be, will be. And I am not forcing myself to read anything that is not bringing me pleasure. You know what they say about life being short. Don't force yourself. This is not an obligation. Reading is not an obligation. It's a joy. It's a beautiful, fun pastime. It's a hobby. It is never an obligation. Do not force yourself to keep going. Take those breaks. Another thing that you can do is get yourself a role model. Do you know how they say you're only as good as the company that you keep? Now, I don't want you to read too deeply into that phrase. I just want you to take it at face value. If you're hanging around with the wrong crowd, guess what? It might rub off on you, and you might be doing some shady shit that you wouldn't have normally done. If you're hanging around with a crowd that maybe, like me, a run group is something that was totally outside of my box, but I joined a run group and I started running. And then I felt myself starting to aspire to be more like the runners. Even though I am not that good at running, I know my worth and I know my place in the running world. However, it helped me to grow as a runner because I aspired to be more like these women that were better at running than me. And I was totally okay with it. And I knew that one day I might never, ever reach their level of excellence when it comes to running. I was okay with that. But it still gave me a goal to aim for, something to shoot for. So that's what I'm saying. Get yourself some role models. Pick somebody that you admire, preferably a reader. And I don't want to say model yourself after them, but go ahead and do that to the degree where it's just enough that it helps you to pick this book up. I really respect and admire this person in these areas. I'm perfectly happy and content being me, but none of us are perfect, and we see in others what we want in ourselves. So if you have a friend or a role model or a person that you admire, adopt some of her or their qualities. By all means, do it. Sam Walton said, when you have a business and it's, let's say it's a burger joint and another burger joint moves in next to you. Well, you do not shun the competition. You welcome them with open arms. What that's going to do is create more traffic flow into your business. What it's also going to do is keep you on your toes. When you were lacking in certain areas of your profession, now you are being forced to reckon with a new entity. And that is a great thing. He also says, go into their business, see what you like about their business, and copy it. Copy it. Do that for yourself, but do it in your own way. And I'm a huge fan of that belief. So if you have a friend that you admire certain qualities in, make them your own quality. There's no shame in that. You see where I'm going with that? I don't know if that made any sense to you, but that's my answer to that. Also, you got to make it fun. You know, they say, make your own happiness. And I believe that. Do things to make your reading fun, whether it's a reward system or whether it's just something simple like an Excel sheet that you created about the books that you read and the star rating, something visual. Visuals are always a good thing. They're always a great source of inspiration. When we keep things tucked in our mind, we can tend to forget about them. When we have a visual in front of us, we can actually confront it, look at it, see it. What do you think causes reading slumps? Well, it is of my opinion that a reading slump is caused when we become bored. Boredom is a key factor in reading slumps. And also a great sense of overwhelm. When we have too much to do, we might feel guilty sitting down and reading. Perhaps we have to write the bills out. We have a ton of laundry we need to catch up on. We have baby showers, bridal showers, graduations, birthday parties. The grass needs to be cut. Groceries need to be bought. Whatever it is, life gets in the way. So sometimes, if we're sitting there, we might feel guilty reading that book. Our minds are going a million miles per minute. And we just don't feel right. And we put the book down. We don't feel like ourselves. We put the book down. It could be hard to pick that book up. Wait till the sense of overwhelm passes. Wait. It's okay. It will pass. It's a phase. It will pass. Just like your slump is a phase, you will get through it. And then when it passes, pick your books up again. Okay. How am I doing? The next question is, how do you avoid reading slumps, floss? Well, I go with the flow. I just go with it. I don't intentionally set out to avoid them. I don't. But some key tips and tricks on avoiding slumps would be, keep it interesting. Go outside of your genre. If you're reading romance, it's going to get monotonous and it's going to get boring. It's gonna. Go and read something the complete and utter polar opposite of what you normally would. Maybe pick up a historical. Oh, but I don't like historical reads. Just try. And if you don't like that historical read, shoot for another historical read. And if you don't like that one, fine. Switch the genre altogether. There is no one lane that you belong in as a reader. Expand. You got a whole highway that you could be traveling down. And utilize those books for what they are. They're written for our pleasure and our benefit. Go out there and explore. Be an archaeologist and dig up those books and see what you can find. You will feel so rewarded. I am telling you, you will be feeling your best as a reader if you just go out there and explore. Dig for gold. Find those books that are diamonds in the rough. Go out there. Also, we can become tired of looking at the written word on a page. In that case, switch your book up for an audible version. Listen to the story being told with all the different decibels and vocals that a story can be told in. Some of them are so fantastic. No one can tell that story better than the author can. And there's no misinterpreting authenticity at its best when the author is reading the story. I love it. So switch the book up for an audible version. See if that doesn't help you out a little bit in your little reading slumps. Another thing, I like to go book shopping. I know. That sounds a little bit, but you know what? It sparks things in my head. It creates excitement. Like I said, those neurons in my brain are firing on all cylinders when I get around brand new books. It's a sport to me. Book shopping is a sport. People like to go hunting and bowling and shoot darts. I consider book buying my sport. I do. If somebody comes home, if your man or woman comes home with an 8-point buck, if I come home with 8 books, it's the equivalent to me. I love book shopping. I do. It excites me. So sometimes when I'm in a slump, I say, well, maybe I just need to spark my interest in it. And surely when you're buying books that, are exciting you, then that creates an excitement and you want to get back into the reading. You don't have to go buy books. If downloading ebooks is your thing, or going to your library, or knocking on your neighbor's door and saying, hey, you got any books that I could browse? Let me check out your library. And, if you're on that friendly terms with your neighbor, I should say, don't go knocking on your neighbor's door if you don't get along, but I'm saying, you know what I'm saying. And the last question is, Floss, how long do reading slumps usually last? And I say, indefinitely. Who knows? It depends on the individual. They could last a few hours. They could last a few months. Regardless, it is what it is. Don't fight it. Go with it. Try these methods. See if they work for you. And if they don't work for you, don't fight it. Set it down. Let it alone. It will come back to you. What's old is new again. So you will find your way back into the books as a reader. What goes up must come down. So give it time. Take a vacation. Do your thing. Do you. Go out there. Live a different kind of life away from the books. And before you know it, you will be inspired enough to come back and pick those books up, rejuvenated, renewed, refreshed, and with a newfound love of your books. One of the things that I am doing right now as a reader who finds myself in slumps is, like I said, the visual. I was at my local Hobby Lobby and I saw this and I was like, get in my cart. Are you kidding me? Get in my cart. I'm excited to show you it. They are calendars and they look like this. This is just the little, thing that staples them together. And it is by Making the Grade. And it is a giant 12 pieces calendar, and it was $9.99, and they come in all these fun, fantastic colors of the rainbow. And just to gauge the size, they are this big. I could give you the approximates on them for those of you out there who want to know. 17 by 22 inches. These colors are fab. Hello. And I love them. I love them. They're so fun. Hello. So my intentions with these are, I'm just going to tack these onto the wall. And then October, my favorite month, then every time I finish a book, I'm going to come to the corresponding day once I fill it in, and I am going to write 1984. Flossie finished 1984. I am going to do that each time I finish a book, as opposed to when I start a book, because I can start a book, but I might DNF it, and I don't want this to be false. I want this to be a reflection of all the books that I've read. Now, I want to get that visual. I want to do like Stevie Nicks and stand back in the middle of my room and see all the books that I have read within the year. I'm not starting it in January and going through December. I'm starting now. So I better get on the stick because we are in July, and if you're wondering why that says 07, it's because July is the 7th month. See, October 10, it's like that. Okay, so anyways, and I just want to write down the books, look at them, become pleased, and that is going to jolt me into reading at a more faster pace, because I will be anxious and excited to be able to go to this reward system and write another book in the calendar. And then I am going to have these huge, I love them, I can't get enough of them. Huge pieces of poster board all over my wall, in an organized fashion. And I am just going to go, wow, look at you go, Floss. Look at you. And that's what's going to work for me. So make it fun. Make your own happiness. Plus, the biggest tip I could ever give is listen to yourself. Listen to what your mind is telling you. You as a person know what's best for you. So just listen to yourself. I hope these tips and tricks helped you. Until my next video, know that I love you. Be well, be good, be reading, and may all your book dreams come true.